right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Punish professors pushing back. More fallout tonight from pro-Palestinian protests at Washington University, bringing changes to tomorrow's commencement ceremonies.
A dry last 48 hours, but that comes to a close on Monday and Tuesday as we look at this storm off to our west, how it impacts us, and why not all areas are going to see the same amount of rain.
Our top story, new information in a Metrolink murder.
It's alarming and it's quite unnerving.
Tonight, a teenage girl is in custody. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. The arrest comes less than 24 hours after a woman was gunned down in the middle of the afternoon at the Forest Park de Bolivar Metrolink station. 5 on your side's Andy Krall joins us now with new developments in this case and more on the ongoing safety issues plaguing the mass transit line. Annie.
Mike, tonight that 17-year-old girl is being held at a juvenile detention facility on charges of second-degree murder and armed criminal action. The deadly violence happening just steps from the Missouri History Museum and several businesses, as well as homes and apartments. It's a crime making residents in the de Bolivar Place neighborhood and visitors to Forest Park on alert.
It's just that when you're actually here, it's unnerving.
You know, it's very unfortunate, but it just kind of comes with the territory, I suppose.
A woman in her 20s shot at the Forest Park de Bolivar Metrolink station in the middle of a sunny day where joggers were out on the trails and people were out enjoying their afternoon. Investigators now saying she was shot in the chest by a 17-year-old girl. Barbara Rodriguez is a traveling nurse and lives in one of the buildings next to the station.
The Metrolink, like, literally is connected to the airport. I just get off of the Metrolink and my gate is right there. So it's so convenient. And then I went to a Blues game and it literally is right there. The Metrolink is so convenient. I wish LA had something like this.
In a statement before the arrest, Metro Transit said it was saddened by the shooting, saying, quote, "We are not immune to the plague of violent crimes which affect our region. It's that violence that has some in the neighborhood taking precautions."
I don't go out at night, especially being a woman. I cannot go out for a jog at night. I won't. I mean, I could, but I just won't.
Walking Sunday near the Missouri History Museum were husband and wife Diane and Peter Legg from Australia. They're not used to gun violence.
If someone gets shot in Australia, we don't panic because we're not involved in their business. It's a different over here. I think they use guns for, robberies or all sorts of things.
They're headed to Kansas City next.
I guess you just hope it's not going to happen around you because we really want to have a look at the world, and every part of the world has a dangerous spot. So
investigators were able to quickly identify that teenage suspect because of the many surveillance cameras on site. Bi-State began a $52 million project last October involving each Metrolink station to activate over 2,000 closed-circuit security cameras that communicate with the central command, plus build safer terminal areas and install high-security fencing. Mike?
Annie, thanks. A St. Louis County man charged in the shooting of a toddler is expected to face a judge this week. Deshaun Harlan is accused of shooting into a car near Chambers Road and Lorna Drive Thursday night. One of those bullets hit a 2-year-old in the leg. Investigators say Harlan previously tried to rob the child's father after they agreed to exchange an AR-15 for marijuana. Tonight, showers are moving in from the west. This comes after a sunny and warm Mother's Day weekend. Many families able to enjoy brunch outside. Meteorologist Gary Frank is timing out those showers in our Weather First forecast.
Yeah, good evening. I do think that for the most part, we're going to stay dry overnight as we look to the south where some of that's starting to settle in, at least the cloud cover has. No wet cameras just yet, but here's where that cloud cover and rain has started to settle in. And look how scattered they are in nature. That's what we're going to be dealing with here as we look ahead to the south, where clouds are starting to increase from Rolla to Farmington. And you'll notice how the shower is working its way toward Rolla and then fizzles out. It's still hitting this dry wall of air, and while our humidity has increased a little bit, it will take some time to overcome. 74 degrees. Our dew point is up a little bit. That number will continue to climb as we have a south-southeast breeze at around 10 miles an hour, and tonight there may be a spotty shower here and there, but temps in the low 60s. I don't expect you're going to wake up to too much rain, but by the rest of Monday, that's going to be changing a little bit. Monday and Tuesday with one dry day, Wednesday, before rain chances go up. And Let's just put the aurora away, because not only is it cloudy, but the solar setup is not quite the same. Our rain chances return, but the severe weather not as expected. We'll talk about potential rainfall totals and how things are kind of changing here over the next 48 hours, and if it's just one of many systems that's going to impact us the next 10 days.
And remember, you can always get the latest weather first forecasts on KSDK.com, the 5 on your side app, and streaming on 5+. You can also text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link. Tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from some of the Washington University professors who were suspended following last month's pro-Palestinian protests on campus that led to arrests and ultimately their suspensions. This as Israel appears poised to continue advancing on the city of Rafah in southern Gaza. The offensive is coming despite warnings and an ultimatum from the White House that a major ground invasion would lead to widespread civilian casualties. President Biden has also threatened to withhold certain weapons transfers. Those WashU professors are speaking out one day before graduation. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski was there and pressed them on their messaging. Laura.
Mike, 5 of the 9 suspended Washington University professors stood here on the corner of Lindell and Skinker this afternoon saying their side of the story, sharing that they're feeling unfairly treated, but will continue to stand by this cause and their students. Israel bombs, WashU pays! These 5 Washington University professors say they've been suspended and some were arrested for standing with students during the pro-Palestinian protests on campus a little more than 2 weeks ago. They claim they've had no due process.
We haven't heard anything from the university, no formal charges, no sign of any investigation, no sign of evidence to back up the allegations made in the letters we received, absolute silence. Of course, we all are pursuing our own collective measures of redress, which include potential legal action.
Attorney and law professor Anders Walker says these professors really don't have a good case against the university legally.
They actually do not. Universities are not free speech zones, and the university can do pretty much whatever it wants.
He says tenure won't protect them either.
Professors under tenure policies can generally write what they want to write and say what they want to write and say what they want to say, but they can't say everything. And if the university decides that they're disrupting life on campus or trespassing or causing harm, then they can be suspended or even terminated.
As a Jew and lecturer in anthropology, Aaron Neiman says by supporting Palestine, he's not rejecting Jewish values, but rejecting genocide.
Reject any implication that the speech or actions of our movement are anti-Semitic. In fact, I see this claim as a dangerous negation of Jewish identity.
I asked all of them, what do you say to the Jewish students who feel unsafe and are struggling with how this is unfolding?
So what we're really trying to highlight is that actually represents a very, very small minority of opinion on campus, either Jewish students or Jewish faculty.
The idea that Jewish students on our campus are not safe is again a fabrication of the administration.
Jewish students at WashU and rabbis who support them have said in multiple interviews with 5 on Your Side, the protests have made them feel unsafe.
I'm afraid for other people, for the other students, for my friends who are also themselves afraid.
If there was a word stronger than terrifying, I would use it.
Now, I asked the professors if they wanted to return to their jobs here at the university, and many of them said they did and want to continue working for their students. Reporting live in St. Louis, Laura Barczewski, 5 on Your Side.
And tonight we're also hearing from WashU Student Senate, which is demanding amnesty for all suspended students and those evicted from campus housing. The student union says more than 1,600 students, a 60% majority, voted in favor of a referendum calling on the university to divest from Boeing over the aerospace giant's ties to Israel. WashU is hoping to avoid disruptions during tomorrow's university-wide commencement ceremony with some policy and safety changes. This comes after protests have disrupted several college graduations, the latest happening today at Duke University, where comedian Jerry Seinfeld, who's Jewish, delivered the commencement address. About 30 students walked out, some waving Palestinian flags. The changes at WashU include the requirement of tickets into Francis Olympic Field. Guests may only bring in clear bags, no bigger than 14 inches by 14 inches by 4 inches. Noisemakers, large banners, balloons, food and drink, except water, along with firearms and weapons, are not allowed. Tomorrow's commencement will begin at 9 a.m. at Francis Olympic Field. Actress Jennifer Coolidge will deliver the commencement address. She will also receive an honorary Doctor of Fine Arts.
He's a diamond in the rough.
I just like things to look neat, and it gives me something to do.
A golf course groundskeeper who works for free.
I just do it because I want to stay busy.
How it's helping this 80-year-old take a swing at life after loss.
It shouldn't come as a surprise that this year is much more wet than last year. We're almost 7 inches ahead. Why that's important as we head into the next 10 days and how much rain we're expecting this week.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
We can all feel a little lost sometimes, but you're about to meet a man who turned his own grief into a gift for the community. In tonight's Making a Difference report, the octogenarian leaving an indelible mark even after life got rough.
At Legacy Golf Course in Granite City, there's a secret weapon in the rough. Someone who's a cut above. Armed not with clubs, but with a trusty weed whacker, 80-year-old Ed Colson roams the course, meticulously manicuring every inch of it to help make every golfer's round a sight to behold.
I just like things to look neat, and it gives me something to do.
And though he tries to stay in the shadows, his work shines through.
People will always make comments, man, the fellow that you have working out at the golf course, he is out there weed eating all the time, or he's out there picking trash up all the time.
And how much does he get paid?
Nothing.
That's right. Even though he's out here 5 and sometimes 6 days a week, he doesn't get paid a dime.
I just do it because I want to stay busy.
Ed says what he likes best about being a volunteer is not having to clock in. And yet he shows up like clockwork.
I spring trim probably 500 trees on this golf course, and about 10 lakes, and about a dozen sand bunkers, and 18 tees, and it takes me approximately 3 weeks to cycle all the way through the whole.
Staying busy, though, is more than just a way to pass the time. It's a means of coping with an immeasurable loss.
And you, love, I really miss.
Just weeks ago, his beloved wife Marilyn passed away. Today would have been their 42nd anniversary.
I love happy anniversary.
Several times a week, he kneels by her resting place, chatting about his day as if she's right there beside him.
Love you and miss you. And I'm a firm believer of spirits there. I miss her, so I try to stay busy. That's gets my mind off of it.
So the golf course for this former car dealer has become a sanctuary where every carefully tended patch of green becomes a tribute to love lost and a life still to be lived.
I think it's just crucial to have a man like him just living in our community, and hopefully someone sees this and thinks, how could I give back to our community too?
In a world that seems to have lost its way, here's a reminder that even in the depths of grief, healing can be found in giving back.
He doesn't want anything for it. He just wants to make a difference.
Ed Colson, volunteering his time and heart while crafting beauty and kindness along life's course.
Hopefully I can go another 10 years.
He doesn't get paid, but Ed tells me he does get a free soda and a hot dog anytime he wants it. A reminder, if you know an unsung hero who is making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. And earlier tonight, the Lawmeyer Annual Art Fair wrapped up. The 3-day fair featured one-of-a-kind artwork from hundreds of artists. It serves as the Sculpture Park's biggest fundraiser. Last month, our partners at the Business Journal reported that the park laid off 7 staff members. Organizers say they will announce tomorrow how much money was raised this weekend. Caught on camera, stunning video of a tornado whipping through western Pennsylvania. It shredded rooftops of homes and slammed into a church during the middle of services. More than 100 worshipers were inside. Amazingly, no one was seriously hurt. The National Weather Service says preliminary reports show it was an EF2 twister with wind speeds of 118 miles per hour. Meteorologist Gary Frank rejoins us now with the Weather First forecast. We're going to get some rain this week, Gary, but you mentioned earlier no severe weather is in the forecast.
No severe weather, yeah. That's the positive thing. There still could be some pretty good rains, but severe weather, we finally can take a back seat for a little bit. And now we'll just look at everything that's greened up so nicely and all the pollen and cicadas everywhere outside. Kirkwood Farmers Market, perhaps, everywhere. They're really everywhere now, and they're going to continue to be that way for the next 4 to 5 weeks. 74 degrees, south-southeast breeze at 8 miles an hour. Got to 84 today. That's above average. We're going to watch this dew point number as the humidity rises. That's why our temps are not going to fall all that much tonight as we have this blanket that's going to settle in of cloud cover and rain eventually. That's going to take some time, but you'll notice how some of these storms are a little bit stronger, and we have breaks where there's no rain at all, and then there's a lot of rain, and then it shrinks and kind of rains itself out. And what we'll look at is storms like this, where some of you, where you're maybe right, here, not getting too much rain, right? There's, you're getting 2/2 of an inch, right? But then you look at this one right here where you get into one of these little red circles here. Look at the significant rain. 5 inches of rain per hour, right? I mean, they're going to be varying pockets like that. So I want you to remember that as we talk about what's going on here into the overnight hours. Not much rain, a few showers. We'll at least pause it there because I think tonight we're in the low 60s. Maybe a spot shower, but I don't think you're waking up to incredibly wet conditions. But as we head into the rest of Monday, we'll start to see more of that rain settle in. Nothing too significant now, but notice you'll watch some of these colors fill in just a little bit. Some areas getting a little bit more. And then as we head into Monday, there may be one of those lines where you start to pick up some of that heavy rain, maybe a 30, 40 mile an hour wind gust to the south where conditions are a little bit more favorable. But our rain chances on Monday, I don't think you're waking up at 7 a.m. and have an incredibly wet commute, but I think the commute home may be a bit different for your Monday evening plans. And as this system continues to, once again, you may wake up Tuesday morning, further south you're dry, but on the northern edge of this low, you're getting some pretty consistent rain where showers and storms may continue to fall. And watch how this starts to slowly work its way out. The wind shifts and we dry out. I think for Monday and Tuesday, widely scattered rain is going to be expected, but with pockets of very heavy rain, there are going to be lots of dry time mixed in as well. And I want you to note that as I show you this potential rainfall through Tuesday. Watch how this low settles in. Some of you, all these are going to be varying, but look how we get close to 2 inches in Herman, where it's only about 2/3 of an inch in Perryville. Will vary quite a bit. Remember that over the next couple of days. I think there could be some pockets of locally heavy rainfall over 2 inches. As that rain returns, we certainly don't need it, but it'll eventually exit on Tuesday for a day before another chance on Thursday and Friday. And then heat and humidity with giving us opportunities from Saturday through Wednesday of next week.
It's time for On the Move. I'm Paul Cook, your Today in St. Louis traffic guy. I talk to 5 on Your Side viewers almost every day, and everyone has a road that annoys them. Manchester, or Route 100, is one of those roads I hear about the most. It's always had its challenges, even before the current construction project along Manchester from Sappington to 270, which is expanding sidewalks and closing lanes in front of many businesses. Well, get ready. Manchester now has new lane closures that started last Friday and continue the rest of this week. MoDOT is working on utilities on Manchester near Lindeman in De Pere. That very heavily traveled area near 270 will be crowded. Starting Monday at 4 a.m., crews will close lanes around that intersection around the clock. A westbound lane of Manchester near Lindeman and a northbound lane of Lindeman to westbound Manchester. And then on Thursday, they'll reopen those lanes and close the lanes going the other direction. All lanes of this construction on Manchester should reopen by 5 p.m. Friday. The alternate route to help you avoid delays here is Doherty Ferry. Good luck. I'll let you know of any changes. So be sure to catch my traffic reports each morning on Today in St. Louis. Paul Cook, 5 on Your Side.
Tonight, McDonald's is cooking up a menu change. It could be the recipe to slash supersized prices. Tomorrow, a controlled demolition will take place in Baltimore on the largest remaining steel span of the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge. Weather delayed the detonation of explosives today. This will free the large cargo ship that crashed into the bridge back in March and restore traffic in the port. Just hours from now, the star witness in the Donald Trump hush money trial will take the stand in the New York courtroom. Attorney Michael Cohen has become an outspoken critic of the former president. He could potentially tie Trump to the crime of falsifying business records in payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels. The presumptive Republican nominee for president was back on the campaign trail this weekend, where he continued to call the trial a sham.
Al Capone was so mean that if you went to dinner with him and he didn't like you, you'd be dead the next morning. And I got indicted more than him on bull.
Cohen's time on the stand is expected to last several days before the prosecution rests. Trump's legal team will look to undermine his credibility using his own criminal past and history of lying under oath. McDonald's may have a solution to supersized inflation. According to Bloomberg, the fast food giant is looking into adding a $5 meal to its menu. The move comes after skyrocketing menu costs and a drop in sales. The affordable meal would reportedly give customers a choice of a McChicken, McDouble, or 4-piece chicken nugget with fries and a drink. The invasion has begun. The places in the bi-state you won't see or hear cicadas. Cicadas have begun emerging from underground and taking residence in trees across Missouri and Illinois. The Missouri Department of Conservation says we're still in the early cusp of the emergence. Not everyone may see a large invasion, though, of these creepy crawlers.
Since they stay in the ground for 13 years, if there's been recent subdivision or building development, they won't be coming out in those areas. So at newer developments, you may not be hearing them as much.
Conservation officials say we should begin hearing the loud chorus of the cicadas hiss within the next couple of weeks. For the first time in more than 200 years, Illinois is expecting the emergence of 2 separate broods at the same time. And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That begins at 4 a.m. And now, here's Frank Cusimano with Sports Plus.